folks, welcome back to Wheels of Mercury. My name's Calvin, and this is a mid-year report where I go over a few 2022 releases in music that I liked or loved at the half point of this year. Let's not waste any more time and start all the way back in February with the sophomore LP from British experimental rock outfit Black Country New Road, entitled Ants From Up There. This thing was hugely anticipated by a lot of the radio music / MU core crowd, as the debut, 2021 for the first time, was a huge hit on radio music. While that album was more of a talk thingy, post-punk thingy, this one is more of an Arcade Fire worshipping record. But that is not a slight against it, as Black Country New Road put their own spin on that whole formula, with their jazz influence and creative songwriting, not to mention the emotional delivery of now departed singer Isaac Wood. Black Country New Road are already masters at crescendos and making a 9-minute piece feel like 3 minutes. Plus, the third track, Concord, just might be a single for the ages. I would say it's probably my third favorite record of the year so far. Later in February, the debut EP from Finnish black metal band Moonlight Sorcery was released under the name Piercing Through the Frozen Eternity. This is a glorious short release that captures the spirit of bands like Emperor and Immortal through 4 tracks and an intro, all clocking in at just over 26 minutes. This thing feels like moving through a quick blizzard, with ripping guitar solos and a perfect drum sound for this kind of symphonic cold black metal. Nothing original, of course, but it is done very, very well. If you thought that the Stormkeep record from last year was too long for you, this'll do the trick. A great black metal EP, my friends. Moving on to records that were released in March of 2022, we have Ordalice, the third studio album from the French melodic black metal band Vehemence. I had heard of these guys before, but I had not checked them out until this year. Oh my goodness. The riffs are phenomenal. The vocals, both clean and harsh, are savage as hell. And the medieval era instruments woven into these songs are fantastic. The drumming is so fast that I thought it was a drum machine at first, but no, there's an actual drummer on this record. The only downside to this album is that it's too long. They should have snipped 10 minutes off, as it would have made re-listens a lot easier, at least for somebody with ADHD like me. But that is just a slight complaint. This thing rules. Next up is the third album from Italian doom metal band Mesa, entitled Close. Spoiler alert, this is my album of the year so far. These guys have been playing their jazz-flexed version of classic doom metal since 2014. And this new album, in my opinion, is the peak of their potential. Seriously, there are some masterfully constructed and diverse songs on this thing, including a 45-second grindcore song, if you can believe it. And the genre-blending jazz sections are well thought out and very, very effective. There is also an added influence from Middle Eastern music, too. Apparently, while on Knockdown, the guitarist taught himself how to play the oud, a fretless stringed instrument native to that part of the world. I gotta admit it was pretty cool hearing that pop up on a doom metal record like that. Elsewhere, the song vocals of singer Sarah Bianchi are pretty freaking fantastic. So smoky and mysterious and theatrical. She heightens the drama of a lot of these songs. Just a fantastic performance all around. Although this may be my album of the half year so far, it may be contested throughout the coming months by a certain black metal album. And what a black metal album it is. For it was the third long-awaited offering from American cult favorites Negative Plane, entitled The Pact. This album had been gestating for 13 years, and when you look at the concept between the record and the lyrics and everything else, it's easy to see why. This album revolves around stories of a church cursed by its builder making a faulty deal. That is, a deal with good old Satan himself. It was inspired by a tour the band members took of a haunted cathedral while on tour in Germany. One of the song titles was even taken from that tour, uttered by an elderly man upon gazing at the band's long hair and blasphemous band patches.
Even the devil goes into the church.
Every detail is noted in the music and the production, and also how it fits into the narrative of the story. Speaking of the music, instrumentally, it is a fusion of first and second wave black metal with psychedelic touches here and there. I saw somebody on Rate Your Music comment that the thing is like the 80s band Merciful Fate without the vocals of King Diamond, which is great for me, cause I freaking hate that guy's chipmunk shrieking voice. Sorry for all those King Diamond fans out there. That's just how I feel. Back to the topic at hand. This album, as I alluded to earlier, might just dethrone the metal release if it grows on me more than it already has. It has great lyrics, great musicianship, perfect cabinet production, and it's an overall incredible experience. I beg anybody who's into black metal or just well-crafted extreme music in general to check out this thing. It's freaking fantastic, y'all. Another album that's very much worth your time if you're into metalcore is Northlane's newest album, Obsidian. Hot off the heels of the successful and emotional triumph of 2019's Alien, the Australian group delivers yet again another great offering of new metal-inspired metalcore. Taking cues from Linkin Park and EDM music, these guys have an accessible sound, sure to please anyone who grew up with Hybrid Theory and Meteora on loop, or had Hot Topic as their favorite store during their teenage years. The production on this album is slick and massive. It honestly feels like you're thrown into a freaking metalcore wave at times. It's cool. Vocalist Marcus Bridge shows once again why, in my opinion, he would be the perfect candidate to sing for Linkin Park whenever those guys decide to play shows again. Seriously. There were times on this album, and the last one, where he'd gone so close to Chester Bennington that I would get goosebumps and almost tear up from that observation. Man, I miss Chester so much. The highlight of this album for me is Inamorata. Apparently that song was written about Marcus's girlfriend. I'm not certain on that. But what I do know is that this should have been released as a single. It is such an emotional release of a track that would probably be a hit on Sirius XM Octane if it was a single. The only downside to this album is that it's a little on the long side. I would have left Clockwork off the album, but that's just me. Overall, if you are a metalcore fan, do not skip on this album. It's pretty awesome. And that brings us to the final album that impressed me in the past 6 months. Monuments to Impermanence. The debut full-length from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania-based sludge metal band Pyrite. Now, I am not usually a fan of sludge metal. I can count how many sludge bands I liked before on one single finger. Thou. And that's it. But now this thing has me reconsidering if I should add another band to my rare pantheon of sludge metal, because this thing is amazing. It literally starts bursting out of the gate from the first track before slowing down and settling into the actual meat of the song. The dynamics are stunning all over this thing. They really know when to let it fly and when to hold the song back. And can I just highlight the drumming and the additional percussion? Because it is stunning. On that front, 2 of the members of Notum, whose debut was one of my favorites of 2021, handled the percussion, including found percussion, even using actual trash, as it stated on the press release for the album. Doug Moore of the avant-garde death metal band Puron also makes an appearance on guest vocals. But since I haven't heard much of that band, I can't really comment on their contributions to this particular record. But overall, this is such a stunning listen. If you want your sludge metal to be a bit more adventurous and left field, you can't go wrong with this album. Killer stuff. And that is it for Wheels of Mercury's mid-year report. I admit I still have a boat ton of albums to listen to, like the newest Watain and the Chartwell records, the debuts from Belgian experimental black metal group Dissolve Patterns, Finnish US-style speed metal group Emissary, as well as the recent release from French legends Blue Dust Nord. I also have things like the recent Mizmor and Thou collaboration to listen to yet. As for releases coming out this summer, I am looking forward to spending time with the new White Ward album and the upcoming Machine Head release, following up a freaking glorious EP from last year. So, lots of things on my plate, my friends. I have been listening to a heck of a ton of stuff from Thrice, and as of this script writing, all of the discography of one of the best kept secrets in all of metal, Wichita, Kansas, Manila Road. Later band I will spread the full word of in an upcoming video talking about my favorite bands of all time. Your eyes peeled for whenever that drops. If you like what I am doing, hit that subscribe button and that little button that looks like a thumbs up. See my hand? It looks like that. And also, ding that bell. Why don't you? Rock on, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.